Let's be real, Daredevil Born Again was Frankenstein's mess.
And while we can give it some grace for the behind-the-scenes mess, we still didn't believe it lived up to expectations, especially compared to the 3 masterful seasons of our dearly beloved Daredevil.
But there is hope with these new showrunners, so with that revitalized hope in Born Again Season 2, it inspired me and our new homie Osheem to brainstorm 10 things we want to see in Daredevil Born Again Season 2. So to be frank, we're going to drop some real ball knowledge on y'all before you guys get the fuck out. Some things on my wish list that I want to see more of in Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is more emphasis on Matt's Catholicism. You know, like I do believe religion does play a big aspect, and mostly Matt's belief in that plays a big aspect in that character. And what makes him really interesting is one of those characters who plays as the devil, you know, a religious character who plays as the devil, right? And there is no real church scenes in Born Again. And one of Matt's defining characteristics, not just in the Netflix show, but also in the comics, is his faith. It's either his faith in God or faith in the people, you know? And I think that is sorely missed in Daredevil Born Again Season 1. And on top of that, his own mother. We haven't seen his own mother in the show, who plays a nun in Daredevil Season 3, right? She wasn't in this show. Sister Maggie was not in the show. And she's only mentioned in the bank heist in passing to Yusuf Khan. But there was also a scene in Netflix's season finale which heavily implied that she, as his mother, is going to take that role of Father Lansom, who was killed by Bullseye, of course. And as the character who he would go for as emotional and a moral compass and a voice of reason, especially for Matt Murdock. Okay, so shout out to one of the comments on Osheem's video where he pointed out a potential spoiler of Born Again Season 2. At some point while Daredevil is chasing Bullseye, both characters find themselves in the Clinton church, which could be potentially meaning that Father Lansom's death might be addressed there, and it might also hint at the return of Sister Maggie, which would be great. And it overall just makes it feel like it was necessary, and especially now more than ever, we get that necessary exploration on Matt's faith, especially during another terrible time in his life. So I like to see him still seek his faith, even when it feels so terrible and everything feels terrible about his life. And honestly, it's a powerful testament of faith, not just in God, but in people. And plus, we miss banger lines like this.
Anyway, he told me God's plan is like a beautiful tapestry. And the tragedy of being human is that we only get to see it from the back. With all the ragged threads and the muddy colors. And we only get a hint at the true beauty that would be revealed if we could see the whole pattern on the other side. As God does.
The one thing I really want on my wish list is better action scenes. It's mostly just because, you know, don't want to see a lot of CGI. I want to feel practical. You know, I want to make sure that it feels real and tangible. That's the biggest thing I want with these action scenes. And most of the action scenes in Born Again weren't bad, but it was also a lot of camera cutting, just editor's problems as well. You know, I feel like I just wish that the camera just stuck there, you know, no cutting whatsoever, just allow the action scene to breathe. And that's the most important part of this. And also a side note that I really want to mention with the action and overall nature of the show is how, you know, mature, right? We praise it for being mature, but I do wish that they gave more substance to the maturity, you know, especially with the added gore, the added language, you know. I don't mind them saying fuck, you know, Daredevil saying fuck is cool, but I don't think there's a lot of substance to it at points, you know. It doesn't feel there's weight to it, especially that one scene where they like slaps the guy like that, you know. And I guess it's cool, right? I mean, it's interesting to see that Disney Plus can do that and get away with that. But in the story itself, right, it doesn't feel necessarily helpful for the story. You know, I just feel like, oh, shoot, I'm scared, right? It's like horrifying, but it doesn't feel necessary. You know, it's something like that in my mind. And speaking of that kind of gore and visuals and all that, I do want to have better visuals in the show, especially color grading wise. Like, I can appreciate there's some pretty good cinematography here. You know, I can appreciate the city shots where it feels like, yeah, this is a busy city in New York City. That's great. But I do believe there could be stronger color grading here, and that could definitely highlight the visuals, and especially the cinematography. For example, in Daredevil Season 1, it's arguably the best looking comic book show of all time. And it has some great scenery, great lighting, great overall cinematography, right? And Born Again Season 1 has a higher budget, and it should look like like a better show, you know? I mean, you can, like, at least a better visual show, and especially in comparison to Netflix's show. But of course, it feels less like that continuation of the Netflix's aesthetic, and kind of goes with that more Disney Plus, right? With that more grayed out, like kind of washed out aesthetic, which isn't a fan, and it kind of loses its personality. It reminds the audience essentially of what show they're watching, and it looks better that way too. And it also helps me visually. I don't want to watch some shitty looking show sometimes, right? Especially visuals and color and all that. I love that shit a lot. The next thing that I really want to discuss about is, oh, there has to be a more cohesive love interest. And just frankly speaking, Heather is just not a good love interest. She's not even a good character. and I don't really care for her at all. I don't understand why Matt would, and especially her morale and loyalty to Matt is also very questionable. And with the new technically love triangle with Matt, Karen, and Frank in the Born Again finale, it just kind of leads to more of a mess in terms of the love interest situation, right? And Heather just feels like a stand-in for our glorious Karen Page for those first 6 to 7 episodes, which is kind of like that creative overhaul really messed everything up and kind of messed up that cohesion, and which was an absolute bummer at that point. Because you can tell that these episodes weren't initially part of the vision, and then now they are, and it's just like it's a mess. It's a mess for sure. Also leads to me to think of the most messiest love interest, in a good way, of course. And that's why I love to bring back Elodie Yung as Elektra. I love her, right? She was fantastic. I thought she had great chemistry with Charlie Cox and Daredevil. And honestly, if Disney is committed to having Born Again as a true successor to the Netflix show, then they should be consistent and rehire the former actors at every given opportunity. Especially Elodie Yung, who has expressed interest in returning to the show. There's been other actresses who've also been rumored to be cast as well. And it just, I just love me some Elodie Yung, man. Come on. And that's why, all I want is to have is Elektra back, I mean, of course, I'd love to get Elodie Yung back, but if they do happen to recast her, it's tough. But, as long as we get back Elektra, that really changes up things a little, and I'd be really interested in. Another big thing that I really want to hone in on, especially for season 2, is just to really flesh out that supporting cast, especially the new characters here. Because like I said, these new characters feel like stand-in and, cardboard cutouts of actual characters, and they don't feel like the real deal, right? Like Heather feels like a cardboard cutout of a love interest. Carrie and Angie, if that's even her name, I completely forgot about these characters, are among the characters in Josie's at the end of Born Again. And it feels like I don't even know who the hell they are. I don't even know who Cherry is. I don't even know who Angie is. I didn't know that till now. They have two kind of like servant characters, like the Wesley archetype characters for Kingpin, right? One is Buck Cashman and the other is Daniel Blake. And both are the glazing motherfuckers. I've never seen motherfuckers who glaze so much. And the first guy who's on his knees is Buck, the older and experienced right-hand man to Kingpin. And there's a theory that he may betray Kingpin and might switch sides. And we'll wait and see how that works out. I really couldn't care less, but I do like to see that flesh out for Buck. And the main guy who's on his knees for Kingpin is Daniel, who seems to just be a young and impressionable man, but not much really backstory is given to him and why he's such a glazing bitch to Fisk. Perhaps he has reasons for it, but the story never really gave us any context. And unless he is just a pathetic moron who likes to be on his knees. But Daniel, the last guy who was on his knees with Kingpin, got his head flat. And won't lie, one of the most interesting aspects to Born Again was the reporter aspect and how they explored the perspective of New Yorkers and how they perceive, especially the atmosphere of New York and the vigilantes and all that. And that brought in Bibi Yerk as Ben Yerk's niece, and she honestly had a lot of potential, but I do feel like her role has been kind of wasted so far, or not explored enough. And the power that she has with her voice as a journalist would have so much fuel. She got to meet Karen and learned everything that she went through, especially as technically Karen is like like Ben's, prodigy in a way, kind of learning from him. And I think that's why it would be really cool to explore that, especially explore a justice for Ben element here. And it's a great thing for the plot. But BB's kind of been really undercooked here, which it's kind of sad because she wasn't really a character in the OG series. She's essentially an original character, and she's kind of playing a legacy character as well in Born Again. But man, my girl needs some more fleshing out. And these are kind of my wish list and my thoughts on what I would want to see from Born Again Season 2. And yeah, I hope this is going to pass it on to Osheem, and as he talks about his wish list for Born Again Season 2. So take it away, bye-bye.
Showing Brett's grief and him being the one to save Foggy. One aspect of the characters' relations that was established literally from the beginning is that Brett and Foggy have been friends since they were 4 years old. This means that they have known each other even longer than Foggy and Matt have been best friends. Brett should have already been in Season 1, so that Matt would have had at least one other person to bond with over the death of Foggy, let alone just his overall feeling of loneliness after Karen left. Not even cardboard character of Heather helped. In fact, it made the moment feel even flatter. Royce Johnson is confirmed to return for Season 2, which was great news, and part of this wish is to see him at first reacting to Foggy's supposed death, but also to be the one rushing to his aid and enrolling him into witness protection after learning he survived, but is fighting for his life. Additionally, since Kingpin crushed Gallows' head, there's eventually going to be a job opening in New York City for police commissioner. Brett's character arc in the MCU has consisted of him rising in ranks of the NYPD over time. Given his history of serving the city, it's only fitting for him to be in the running for the highest level promotion yet. As our boy Reel mentioned earlier, Cherry and Angie should be following Brett's lead since he's got the most experience as a police officer taking on the Kingpin. They should probably start by tracing Sheila Rivera down and figuring out what she knows about the previous commissioner's death. That should make for one hell of an alibi. Bring Marcy back. There were so many things wrong with how Born Again opened, despite the fact that this was one of the reshoots as part of the overhaul to connect with the original Netflix show, and one of the aspects that doesn't get enough attention is how Foggy was at the bar trying to shoot his shot with a new character, Kristen McDuffie. The looming elephant in the room is, why wasn't Marcy brought back? In season 3, Foggy proposed to her. She's also the one who gave him the idea to run for district attorney. She is last seen at the Nelson Butcher Shop speaking with Foggy's dad. In addition to Elodie Young, Amy Rutberg also expressed interest in returning to her Marvel role. Had she already been brought back akin to Vanessa getting recast, she could have been the one grieving over Foggy's dead body instead of Karen. They could have been married and even had a child, which would have made his potential death even more tragic and hit even harder for everyone. And the law firm's name could have remained Nelson and Murdock, as Marcy could have taken Foggy's surname. She and Matt could have become law partners. This could have been an opportunity to give a side character an upgrade in the story to more of a main role, just like what they are probably going to do with Brett. But it's not too late. If the rumor about Foggy surviving is true, then Marcy could be there alongside Brett when Foggy finally wakes up from his gunshot wound and near-death experience. I would absolutely love it if Marcy was back, as she was a significant part of Foggy's arc in the original show, so if she returned, the connection to the previous show would also feel that much stronger. Justice for Nadeem. For anyone that is a hardcore fan of the original Netflix show, it is an absolute no-brainer how Born Again ruined the ending of it. The simplest way to say this is that this is just unacceptable to have that be the only bridge between seasons 3 and Born Again to explain whatever may have transpired within the 5 to 6 years in the MCU timeline on how Kingpin got out, as well as the conclusion to Ray Nadeem's character arc. It's just unacceptable. Now, one idea that I've already pitched before is to retcon Kamala Khan as Nadeem's niece, which would therefore motivate her as Ms. Marvel to go after Bullseye and avenge her uncle. The setup is partially already there since Matt met her dad, Yusuf Khan, but all I really want is justice for Nadeem. Justice for Ben Urich was the concept that brought the character BB Urich to life, and all I'm asking for is the show to pull something similar off for Nadeem. If that flashback scene with Vanessa and Dex is really the only closure we're going to get, then that's not even closure. That's just us having to accept the fact that they retroactively ruined the ending of one of the best TV shows ever, and that's the original Netflix show. Zohran Mamdani cameo. Wilson Fisk getting elected mayor of New York City has its own dissonance in the plot. However, in real life, history was made this year after Zohran Mamdani got elected as New York City's 111th mayor. With all of the tragedy taking place in reality, Mamdani is a glimmer of hope for the city of New York. Given the timeline of the MCU, Fisk canonically won the mayoral race in 2025, so there could be a quick fun cameo of Mamdani showing up just for him to say he'll consider running against Fisk for mayor in the next election season. That is, if Fisk gets to even keep his job as mayor for that long. Brad Winderbaum did confirm that Wilson Fisk is the Thanos of the MCU, street level MCU. Matt training to The Weeknd. The Hills came out in 2015, which is without a doubt The Weeknd's best song of all time. The same year Daredevil came out, which is without a doubt the best comic book TV show of all time. Coincidence? I think not. The ending of the music video looks like it was taken right out of an episode of Daredevil. Like, come on, yo, we're talking about Daredevil here. He hears everything, so he's gotta have the best taste in music, aka The Weeknd.
So now that we've got some real ball knowledge on y'all, talking about what we want to see in Daredevil Season 2.
It's not like we're complaining about Season 1, but wishing Season 2 to be even better, cause who doesn't want to see Daredevil thrive in 2026?
We'd like to get your thoughts on what you guys think about the upcoming season of Born Again, and what you want to see from the upcoming season of Born Again.
Holla at your boy, and get the f*** in this community.
So absolutely, I just want to give some special thanks to Osheem for hopping onto this video and honestly taking the time to put in the work with the script. You know, this is his first collab ever, so I'm absolutely blessed to basically his first pause. You know, but seriously though, doing this was awesome, and we should definitely do more collabs soon. And you know, he's really talented, especially well spoken, right? This guy is really well written too. The guy knows how to write. You know, I really appreciate that a lot. So go check him out and support him on his creative journey on YouTube. you know. And I think that's it for me, you know what I'm saying? So happy holidays and happy new year, right? Whenever you're watching this, you know, I'm recording this close to Christmas, right? But, you know, getting there in the holiday spirit, right? And I just feel like people with real ball knowledge know to take advantage of 2026 and not to treat 2026 as a standing character, like Heather Glenn. What's up?